Welcome to Warwick Science's Film Practical on corrosion. And corrosion is more commonly known as rust, and it's a major problem that we have here in Australia, even though that we live in a hot, dry climate. As usual, the prac write-up will come onto the screen, so what I would like you to do, please, is to copy that down. And this is usually a prac that lasts for a number of days, but obviously through the avenue of film we can speed that process up. But if you'd like to pause the video, take down the write-up and then commence when you are ready to go. Alright, so what we have is, here we have 3 test tubes, and into each test tube I'm going to place 2 iron nails, or more correctly steel nails, but into each I'm going to put 2, and then we're going to subject each test tube to a different set of conditions. So we'll put 2 into there, 2 into there, and 2, and you can see they're just standard small nails into that one there. Now into the first one, we're just going to, into test tube number 1, we're just going to put a little drop of water on them. Not a very large drop, we're not going to soak them in water, but just moisten them a little bit in order to see the effect. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just cover those over. So there's the first one there, and that's test tube number 1. To our second one, we're going to put some boiled water, and that's water that doesn't contain any oxygen. Okay, so, and this time we'll actually cover over the nails so they're completely submersed in water. Okay, maybe just one more, and again boiled water, as I said earlier, has no oxygen in it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover that with a layer of vegetable oil, and this again is designed to actually stop any oxygen getting in. Now just put it down the side there, because oil is lighter than water, so it's going to float on top of the water. And as you can see there, we've now got 2 distinct layers. So we have the boiled water here, which contains no oxygen, and the oil up there. Now to this one we're going to stopper the test tube as well, so we make sure that nothing can get in there at any time. And finally the last one, we're just going to leave it with no water at all. So and we're just going to put a stopper in that one, so we end up with our 3 test tubes. So just to recap, and you have to do your observations before, just to recap, 1 with moistened with water, so there's some water there. The second one with boiled water, which contains no oxygen, and oil. And the third one just dry tacks. Now normally we would wait around 5 days for this to take effect, but because we need to speed this one up, I have a set here that were done by some students of mine. And what we've got is, rather interestingly, there is test tube number 1. So you can see the fact that it has a great degree of corrosion or rust, which is now in the bottom of the test tube. Test tube number 2, which is the oil one, basically has no major rust attached to it. Okay, so they're well protected. And then of course the third one, which is simply just the tacks, they are simply dry. There's some marking on the test tube here from a previous experiment, but there's basically no rust there at all. So if you have a look at it, we have rust that has occurred with number 1, and no rust with number 2 and number 3. Of course the question that we need to ask is, what is the idea and the point behind test tube number 3? And that's something for you to consider. Now what you need to do is to have a look at the test tubes, write down your observations, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to identify what conditions we need for rusting to occur. Okay, so based upon the results that we've got there. So again, you can see test tube number 1 full of rust, test tube 2 and 3 having no rust. Once you've done that, and you might want to Google rusting and see what you can find to be able to help you, then I suggest you go and talk to your teacher and make sure that you've got the right responses down. Thank you very much for accessing Warwick Science's film practical on corrosion.